The moment I realized I'd been lied to still haunts me. I was sitting in a cramped cyber cafe in Nairobi, the air thick with the hum of outdated computers and the faint buzz of fluorescent lights flickering overhead. I stared at a wiped out account on a screen that seemed to mock me with every pixel, my heart pounding as reality sank in. My hands trembled as I clicked refresh over and over, praying it was a glitch, a cruel joke, anything but the truth staring back at me. But it wasn't. It was gone. All of it. The mentor who promised me wealth, who painted vivid pictures of me trading from a beach in Mombasa with the sun on my face and a cold drink in my hand, had blocked my WhatsApp number without so much as a goodbye. They sold me a fantasy of quitting my soul-crushing job, of breaking free from the grind that kept me awake at night. But the reality was a $500 loss, half a year's savings scraped together from sleepless nights of odd jobs and borrowed cash, and a mountain of shame so heavy I could barely lift my head. I'm Alfred Mugo, and this isn't just a warning, it's my confession. The voice you hear is AI, crisp and steady, but the rage that burns in my chest, the tears that stain my pillow, the sleepless nights replaying every mistake, and the hard-earned lessons that scarred me, they're all mine, raw and real. I fell for the lies, hook, line, and sinker, swept up in a dream that turned into a nightmare. I'm here, bearing my soul, to make sure you don't end up in the same dark place I did, staring at an empty screen with nothing but regret to keep you company. If my story strikes a chord, if you felt that sting or fear it's coming, hit that subscribe button. If you're tired of seeing our people, our brothers, our sisters, bled dry by these heartless scams, join me. We're exposing the truth, one painful, honest story at a time. The lie that hooked me. It started with a WhatsApp forward that landed in my inbox like a lifeline tossed to a drowning man. A Nigerian trader flaunting stacks of crisp dollar bills, his grin wide and confident beside a gleaming SUV that shimmered under the sun. He claimed he'd turned 50,000 KES into 500,000 KES in just 1 month. A rags-to-riches tale that felt like was written just for me. The pitch was irresistible, a siren song for someone like me, scraping by on $3 a day in a city that never slows down, where every shilling is a battle won. Escape poverty, the message screamed in bold letters. Trade Forex and buy land for your family. Be the one who changes everything. It was as if they'd peeked into my soul, seen my aching desire to lift my parents out of their leaking shack with its rusty roof, to send my little sister to a proper school with books and desks instead of a dirt floor, to finally be the hero I'd always dreamed of becoming. I couldn't sleep that night, my mind racing with possibilities, my heart thumping with hope I hadn't felt in years. So I did what felt like my only shot. I borrowed money from my uncle, a man who'd already given me more than I could ever repay, his calloused hands a testament to years of sacrifice. I handed over that cash, every last coin of it, for a VIP signal group that promised to transform me into a trading prodigy overnight. The first few days felt like magic, numbers flashing green on my phone, my account ticking upward, a rush of adrenaline with every pip. I'd check it obsessively, grinning like a fool, imagining the day I'd walk into my parents' house with a title deed in hand. But then, like a sandcastle crumbling under a relentless tide, it all washed away. I lost everything in a dizzying blur of bad trades, cryptic signals, and broken promises that evaporated faster than morning mist. The mentor disappeared into thin air, his profile picture replaced by a gray silhouette, leaving me to face my family with empty pockets, a shattered dream, and a heart full of regret so bitter I could taste it. I had to sit across from my uncle, his eyes searching mine, and confess that I'd gambled away his trust, his money, on a lie. That moment, his quiet sigh cutting deeper than any shout, still echoes in my bones. Africa's Forex trap, stories of broken dreams. But my story? It's just one drop in an ocean of pain, a single thread in a tapestry of despair woven across this continent. Let me introduce you to others who've stumbled down this same treacherous path, their dreams crushed under the weight of empty promises. Grace, 24, Kampala, a seamstress with dreams bigger than her tiny shop, her fingers nimble with a needle and thread, stitching hope into every seam. She sold her sewing machine, her lifeline, the heartbeat of her small business, to join a trading academy that promised to crown her a Forex queen. The coach taught her to gamble on EUR/USD with no risk management, no stop losses, just blind faith in his expert signals that he swore were foolproof. She lost 700,000 UGX in a week, her only income source reduced to a memory, her shop now silent without the hum of that machine. Now, she stitches clothes by hand, her back aching, her dreams of expanding into a bustling tailor's empire shattered into pieces too small to sew back together. Tunde, 30, Lagos, a father of two with a steady but soul-crushing job as a security guard, standing watch through endless nights for pennies. He quit after a YouTube guru, all charisma and polished edits, swore he'd make guaranteed profits trading Forex, a ticket out of the grind. He traded during blackouts, squinting at his phone by the dim flicker of candlelight, his kids asleep on a thin mattress nearby, oblivious to the stakes. He lost 300,000 NGNs in a market he barely understood, the numbers on his screen turning red faster than he could blink. Now he drives a Keke Napep through Lagos traffic, weaving between potholes and debt collectors, the roar of the engine drowning out his quiet prayers to repay loans that hang over his family like a dark, unyielding storm cloud. Amina, 19, Johannesburg, a bright university student lured by TikTok ads flashing six-figure profits, her eyes wide with ambition as she scrolled through promises of wealth. She traded during lectures, her laptop balanced on her knees, dreaming of paying off her tuition and lifting her single mom out of debt that clung to them like damp air. She lost her entire tuition fund in a reckless spiral, the market swallowing her future as she watched helplessly. She dropped out, her textbooks gathering dust, and now works double shifts at a call center, her voice steady for customers, while her heart silently mourns the education she can no longer afford. These aren't just stories, they're Africa's hidden crisis, a silent epidemic of broken dreams and stolen futures that stretches from Nairobi to Johannesburg, from Lagos to Kampala, binding us in a shared struggle we can't ignore. Why Forex hits Africa harder? You might wonder, why does Forex trading hit Africa like a sledgehammer, leaving bruises that don't fade? It's not just bad luck, it's a perfect storm of vulnerabilities that scammers exploit with cold, ruthless precision, targeting us where we're most exposed. Unreliable internet. In places like Nairobi or Accra, power outages are a daily gamble, a roll of the dice you can't win. Imagine trading with a lagging connection that stutters and freezes, or costly data bundles that drain your wallet faster than the market drains your account. One missed exit, one delayed order, seconds stretch into eternity, and you're staring at a margin call while your screen buffers, mocking your helplessness. I've sat through those outages, my phone's battery dying, praying the lights would flicker back on before my trade did me in. Weak currencies. Losing $500 in Kenya or Nigeria isn't just a setback. It's a family's meal plan for months, a child's school fees scribbled on a crumpled receipt, or the rent that keeps a roof over your head. Our currencies don't bounce back like the dollar or euro. They stumble and fall, each loss cutting deeper, lingering longer, a wound that festers without relief. That $500 was my safety net, my buffer against a world that doesn't wait. And when it vanished, it took more than money. It took my peace. Predatory targeting. Scammers don't just stumble upon Africa. They hunt here, stalking us like prey in the tall grass. Facebook ads in Swahili, Zulu, or Pidgin English whisper promises of financial freedom to the unemployed, the underpaid, the dreamers desperate for a way out of the muck. They know our pain points, our hunger for a better life, our exhaustion from scraping by, and they twist that desperation into profit, dangling a carrot we can't resist chasing. I've seen those ads, their bright colors and bold fonts screaming at me, and I fell for it every time. No safety nets. Here, there's no regulation to catch you, no refunds to soften the blow, no consumer protection to fight your corner. Brokers vanish overnight, their websites replaced by error pages, and victims suffer in silence, too ashamed to admit they've been duped in a place where pride runs as deep as our rivers. I reported my mentor to no one. There was no one to report to, just swallowed the loss and let it gnaw at me in the dark. It's a rigged game, and we're playing with weighted dice, stacked against us from the start. The psychology they exploit. So how do they get inside our heads, turning hope into a noose? It's not just clever marketing, it's psychological warfare. and they wield our own cultural values as weapons sharper than any blade. Family pressure. Be the hero who lifts your parents out of the slums, they urge, their voices dripping with false sincerity. In Africa, family isn't just important, it's everything. The bedrock we stand on, the reason we push through every hardship. Scammers know that, so they frame Forex as your duty, your chance to repay the sacrifices of those who raised you, to build them a house with walls that don't leak. It's emotional blackmail dressed as opportunity, and I felt that every signal I followed was for them, not me, until it all fell apart. Religious faith. God led me to this opportunity. Don't doubt his plan, they preach. Their words cloaked in scripture and certainty. In a continent where faith is a lifeline, where we turn to prayer when all else fails, scammers twist that trust into a trap. Questioning them feels like questioning God himself, a sin too heavy to bear, and that hesitation keeps us hooked. I whispered prayers over my trades, believing divine favor would save me, until the silence of loss taught me otherwise. Shame culture. Losing money here isn't just a financial hit. It's a social death sentence, a stain you can't wash out. Admitting you've been scammed means facing whispers behind your back, judgment in every glance, and the fear of being labeled a failure in a community that expects you to rise. So victims stay silent, and scammers thrive in the shadows of our silence, untouchable and unseen. I lied to my siblings for months, pretending I was still learning, forcing a smile while secretly selling my phone and skipping meals to repay debts, the weight of that secret a chain around my neck. How to spot and avoid Forex lies. But here's the good news. You can fight back armed with knowledge and a sharp eye. Here's how to spot the lies and shield yourself from the scam before it sinks its claws into you. Avoid too African hype. Be wary of mentors who lean too hard into tribal languages, local celeb endorsements, or claims like "this works for our economy." It's a trap, a slick veneer to make you trust them. Real trading doesn't care where you're from. It's global, not local. A game of numbers, not nostalgia. If they're pandering to your identity, whispering your language like an old friend, they're playing you. And I learned that the hard way when the Swahili promises turn to dust. Verify with local traders. Join WhatsApp groups like Nairobi Forex Hub or Lagos Traders United, gritty circles where real traders swap war stories. Ask the hard questions. Has anyone actually profited with this mentor? Can you show me your withdrawal slips, not just screenshots? If the answers are vague, defensive, or drowned in excuses, run, don't walk away. I wish I'd asked, wish I'd dug deeper, instead of diving in blind. Start micro, trade $10 on a demo app like OlympTrade or MetaTrader, a sandbox where you can test your wings. Treat it like a game. See if you can grow it slowly with discipline, not desperation. If you can't turn fake money into more fake money, don't even think about using real cash. It's a reality check, not a shortcut. And it's the step I skipped that cost me everything. These aren't just tips. They're your armor, forged from my mistakes. Wear them and you'll stand a chance. Rebuilding after the scam. If you've already fallen like I did, don't despair. There's a way back, a path through the wreckage. Here's how to pick up the pieces and rebuild, brick by painful brick. Admit the loss. It's brutal, like tearing off a bandage stuck to raw skin, but it's freeing. I told my uncle the truth, my voice shaking, bracing for his anger, expecting a storm of disappointment. Instead, he hugged me, his grip firm and steady, and said, "We learn. Now teach others." That moment cracked me open, turned my shame into purpose, a fire to warn the next in line. You can't heal what you hide. Face it, and you'll find strength you didn't know you had. Free resources. Skip the paid courses with their glossy lies and dive into YouTube channels like Forex Squad KE or SA Traders. They're not perfect, sometimes rough around the edges, but they're honest, raw, and won't charge you a dime. I spent nights watching, scribbling notes by lamplight, piecing together what I should have known from the start. Knowledge is power, and it's yours for the taking if you're willing to hunt for it. Community support. I joined a Nairobi trading circle that meets under a mango tree in Uhuru Park, a ragtag crew of dreamers and survivors. We share laptops with cracked screens, strategies scratched on napkins, and sometimes just a laugh over our dumbest trades, the kind that makes your chest ache with relief. It's not fancy, no air-conditioned rooms or big promises, just real people lifting each other up. Find your people, online or under a tree. They'll catch you when the market knocks you down, and I've leaned on them more times than I can count. Recovery isn't just about money, it's about reclaiming your dignity, one small, stubborn step at a time. The scammer's playbook inside their tactics. Let's pull back the curtain on how these scammers operate, exposing the gears of their machine. They don't just wing it, they follow a playbook, a cold, calculated script refined over years of fleecing hopeful traders like us. Here's a peek inside their dark arts, so you can see the strings before they pull them. The fake guru persona. They craft an online identity that screams success. Flashy cars parked in pristine driveways, designer clothes gleaming under studio lights, and screenshots of winning trades that look too perfect to be real. They'll drop names of big banks like Goldman Sachs or claim insider knowledge from Wall Street, but it's all smoke and mirrors, a costume to hide the emptiness underneath. I fell for those screenshots, those polished smiles, until the mask slipped. Once you show interest, they turn up the heat, relentless as a Nairobi sun. Limited spots, they'll shout, their urgency buzzing through your screen. This offer expires in 24 hours. Don't miss out. It's a classic scarcity tactic, designed to rush you into a decision before you can think twice or ask questions. I felt that panic, signed up in a frenzy, and paid the price. The ghosting game. After you pay, the support dries up like a river in drought season. Emails bounce back with cold error messages. WhatsApp messages sit unread under a single gray tick, and that 24/7 mentorship they bragged about turns into radio silence. By the time you realize you've been had, they're already gone, targeting the next victim with a new number, a new lie. I sent message after message, begging for help, and got nothing but echoes. The blame shift. If you complain, they'll flip the script faster than you can blink. You didn't follow the strategy? They'll snap. Or the market was unpredictable, tough luck. It's never their fault. It's yours for not being committed enough, for not trusting the process they never explained. They tried that on me, but by then, I saw through the game. Knowing their moves helps you dodge the punch. Don't let their playbook fool you twice. The real cost of Forex scams in Africa. Beyond the personal toll, the sleepless nights and empty wallets, these scams are bleeding Africa dry on a scale that's hard to wrap your head around. Let's talk numbers, ripple effects, and the wounds that stretch far beyond individual losses, tearing at the fabric of our continent. Economic drain. Every year, millions of dollars vanish from Africa through Forex scams, sucked into a void we can't trace. That's money that could have built businesses, small shops, tech startups, farms, funded education for kids with bright eyes, or propped up local economies teetering on the edge. Instead, it flows into offshore accounts, fattening scammers while our communities starve for opportunity. I think of my $500 multiplied across thousands, and it's a theft too big to forgive. Mental health crisis. The stress of losing life savings doesn't just hurt, it destroys a silent killer we don't name. In Kenya alone, debt-related suicides have spiked, with Forex losses cited as a trigger in hushed whispers at funerals. The shame, the hopelessness, it's a weight that crushes, and I felt it pressing down. Nights I wondered if I'd ever climb out. It's a tragedy no one talks about, but it's real, and it's ours to face. Generational impact. When a parent loses their savings, it's not just their future at stake, it's their children's life, a domino effect that echoes through years. School fees go unpaid, dreams of university fade into the distance, and the cycle of poverty tightens its grip, unyielding and cruel. My sister's school bag still sits in the corner, a quiet reminder of what I almost cost her, and it haunts me. One scam can set a family back decades, a wound that festers across generations. Eroded trust. Scams don't just steal money, they steal faith in legitimate opportunities, poisoning the well for everyone. When people get burned, they become wary of any financial venture, even the ones that could genuinely lift them up. Investments, savings, real businesses. It's a loss of potential Africa can't afford, a shadow that dims our future. I hesitated to trust again, and I know I'm not alone. The cost is staggering, and it's why we have to fight back, not just for ourselves, but for our continent's soul. How to trade Forex without getting scammed. Despite the darkness, there's a way to trade Forex that's honest, grounded, and, dare I say it, hopeful, a faint light in the storm. But it's not the path they sell you, all glitter and quick cash. Here's how to do it right, step by careful step, without falling into the trap I did. Start with education, not hype. Forget the get-rich-quick nonsense that buzzes like flies. It's a lie wrapped in a promise. Dive into free resources, YouTube tutorials from grizzled traders, Forex forums buzzing with debate, demo accounts that let you play without pain. Learn the boring stuff. Risk management, position sizing, market psychology, the nuts and bolts that hold it together. It's not sexy, but it's solid, and I wish I'd started there instead of chasing mirages. Find a mentor, not a marketer. Look for traders who share their losses, not just their wins. Scarred veterans, not polished salesmen. Real mentors teach you to think, to question, not to follow blindly like a sheep to slaughter. They're rare, hiding in local trading groups or online communities with no price tag. But they exist, and they'll guide you if you seek them out. I found one too late, but his honesty rebuilt what the scammers broke. Trade small, think big. Begin with micro lots or even paper trading, dipping your toes instead of diving headfirst. Your goal isn't to make a fortune overnight. It's to survive long enough to learn, to build a foundation that doesn't crack. Consistency beats luck every time, a slow burn over a fleeting spark. I started small after the fall, and it's kept me sane. Stay skeptical. If a strategy sounds too good to be true, it is. Full stop. Question everything. Test it on a demo until it proves itself, and only trade with money you can afford to lose, not the rent or the kid's lunch. Your skepticism is your shield, sharper than any scam. I doubted too late, but you don't have to. Trading isn't a scam, it's the scammers who are. Learn the difference, and you can carve out success on your own terms, steady and true. Closing. Fight back with truth. The Forex century preys on Africa's hunger for hope, feasting on our dreams with teeth bared. But we're stronger than they, tougher than the lies they spin. We're done being silent victims, cowering in the wreckage. It's time to fight back with the most powerful weapon we have, the truth, unfiltered and fierce. Smash that like button if you're done with the lies, if you're ready to stand up and shout no more. Subscribe for raw, local truths. No fake Lambos parked in borrowed driveways, no empty promises dripping with honey, just real talk from someone who's been there, who's felt the sting and risen anyway. And in the comments, let's build a community, a fortress of voices. Drop a crace if you've been scammed. You're not alone, not anymore, not here. Drop a raised fist if you're fighting for our continent, refusing to let these predators win, standing tall for the future we deserve. Together, we can break the cycle, turn the tide. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, a friend, a cousin, a neighbor, teetering on the edge. Let's turn our pain into power, our losses into lessons, and our rage into a roar they can't ignore. Trade smart, remain skeptical, and let reason be your guide in the turbulent world of Forex trading. We've got this, together.